So good afternoon, welcome to everybody. Just to participate to our event, online event, to introduce the Rome office of CLARE. CLARE is the Confederation of Laboratories for AI Research in Europe. And I am Domenico Lembo from Sapienza University and one of the coordinators of this office. And during this event, we will showcase our clear vision and mission and how the Rome office interpret this mission and vision and which are the main initiatives. To start, I would like to say a few words about the office, which is hosted at Sapienza University, but indeed it represents the Italian Association of Artificial Intelligence, and the main activities of the office are in strong collaboration with the association. And this allows us to reach a huge community of researchers in AI from the academia, from people, from the industrial sector, public organization and civil society that are interested at the various levels into AI applications. Even though we are based in Italy, we have strong connections at the global level. So our activity go also behind the country. I would like just to make it precise that even though this is a CLARE office launch event, the office is indeed not new, but has been renovated in the management team. And so this is the occasion to somehow recap what the office has done so far since it has been founded in 2019, and which are the ideas for the future and the plans for the future. And before getting into the heart of the event, I would like also to thank the people that joined the office during the last years, starting from Giuseppe De Giacomo, who coordinated the office since 2022, and he's also here with us today. Piero Poccianti, Davide Bacciu, Francesca Lisi, Giuseppe Attardi, Ramon Fraga Pereira, Rosita Uriemma, Emanuela Comito, and Emanuela Girardi, which is still a member of the office and also here today to talk during this event. And the other new members are Marco Maratea, which together with me coordinates the office, and Gianluigi Greco in his role of President of Italian Association of Artificial Intelligence. I want to also thank the entire CLARE core team for the support, in particular to Holger, which is one of the founders of CLARE and who is present with us today. And now I think it's time to pass the floor to our speakers, starting from Marco Maratea, which will provide further details on how the things will progress during this event. Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Okay, so thank you, Domenico. So this introductory part will continue with speeches from Holger Ross as chair of the board of CLARE, Gianluigi Greco as AIA president, Emanuela Girardi as ADRA president, and Pierre-Philippe Mathieu from ESA. Then we will have two panels about higher level education in AI and AI and health, which will be moderated by Domenico and myself. These are two topics where members of the office has worked in the past, and we would like to continue to contribute further in these two fields. Okay, so I was a bit shorter with Domenico, so now I would like to invite Holger to speak at first.
Hello, everyone. It's my very great pleasure to be here with you today at the relaunch of our Rome office. This is actually one of the CLARE offices that has been there quite early and has done marvelous work up to now, but it's an absolute delight to now see this team at work in Rome so very considerably strengthened. As mentioned before, I am the chair of the board and one of the co-founders of the CLARE organization, which started 2018 as an initiative of more than 600 researchers initially, and then very soon climbing into several thousands, with the goal of ensuring that Europe can do well in AI in a very fierce global competition. looking back, it seems fortunate that we got to work back then, because as we have seen over the last 5 years, AI has become tremendously more important and tremendously more exciting than it even seemed possible in 2018. And then it was already a big thing. Now, 5 years later, we're at the point where, quite unfortunately, despite our best efforts, Europe has fallen further behind other jurisdictions, notably the United States and China. This is not because we are lacking talent in Europe. We have plenty. It's not because we're lacking creativity and conviction. It is because, unfortunately, the resources that have been made available at the European level have been not quite on par with those that have been invested elsewhere. That, of course, is something that we're working very hard in Claire and will continue to work in changing. And as it appears now, after the very impactful release of ChatGPT in last November, and the growing realization that generative AI is here to stay and is about to transform a large part of our industry, of our society, and of our lives, indeed, it becomes ever more important to ensure that Europe has a certain degree of technological sovereignty in this area. And that's something that has been recognized not only by national governments, including the Italian government, but also increasingly by the European Commission, whose investment strategy up to this point has unfortunately been rather ineffective. However, we've seen over our history in Europe that sometimes coming from behind, we can still become leaders. That happened, for example, in aviation, where Airbus was founded at a time when nobody believed that Europe would have any role to play in the production of modern aircraft. And of course, nowadays we're in a situation where Europe is arguably one of the leaders in that space, commercially as well as technologically. I think the very same thing can be said for AI. And here at Claire, we are working towards that goal with offices in several European countries, including Italy. And it's absolutely wonderful that we have the strong support of the Italian AI Association and the many wonderful and excellent research groups that are involved in AI research in Italy. Italy, of course, is one of the more important and one of the weightiest economies in the European Union. It has historically very well recognized prowess in many important areas, including manufacturing. And these are areas that where AI matters quite greatly. So therefore, it is fitting and it is absolutely delightful to see the efforts here in Italy stepped up to work together with colleagues around Europe to do what needs to be done in order to ensure European competitiveness, and in this case also Italian competitiveness in a global world that is increasingly being shaped by AI. It is also absolutely wonderful to see a focus of this enlarged and strengthened Rome office on two areas that are of particular concern to Europe, and this is the health sector and the higher education sector. And why is that? Well, because these are sectors where our European values and our European ways of doing things across the entire European Union and beyond, actually, in the continent of Europe, differ very markedly from the way things are done in North America, particularly the United States, but also in China. And so in these areas, AI is going to have big impact, but it's very important for us Europeans that it's the right kind of AI. And that, of course, is only going to happen if we work on this. With this, I wish this event the best of success. I'm very excited to hear the contributions by so many excellent colleagues. I congratulate you all on this strengthened reopening of the Rome office, and I look forward to interacting with you over years to come. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Holger. As the president of the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence, it is really a great pleasure for me to participate to this event and also to welcome you in the renewed Claire office in Rome. As Domenico told at the beginning, the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence is really does really want to collaborate with Claire and really collaborate tightly with the Claire office. And in fact, basically the Claire office is animated by our members, by part of the board of the directors. So it is an effort that we really would like to spend, and we are really motivated to collaborate in a European infrastructure. Here, I want just to provide you some brief ideas on what in general the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence does in its activities. So the AI Association is born in 1988, and it is a member of the European Association for Artificial Intelligence. It brings basically together the whole Italian community, and especially from the academia, as you can imagine. And over the history, we have accumulated more than 1,500 members. That's really a lot. And in particular, last year, we have more than 400 novel members, which means that the Italian community is really very, very huge and is a vibrant community. What's our general aim? Well, our aim is that of increasing knowledge of artificial intelligence. So we are a very focused community which would like to encourage the teaching of AI at any level, to promote theoretical research, to promote applied research, and in general, we would like to organize seminars, conference, initiative of every kind. Internally, we are organized in working groups. So what does it mean? It means that there are people which aggregates over some kind of topics, and these topics spans over natural fields, classical fields of artificial intelligence, such as argumentation, natural language processing, AI, robotics, knowledge representation. So we basically deep learning, machine learning. So we basically cover the whole spectrum of AI. And these working groups typically organize conferences, seminars, workshops, and in particular, 4 main activities. So our main activities are, first of all, the Congress. So the Congress is our main event. We would like to provide to every single community member the possibility to actively participate to the community. We typically hold the Congress alternately between the south and the north of Italy. Last year, we have been in Udine, and it was a huge success. And this year will be in Rome. And it's a nice event, a very important event, has been organized by the National Research Council, but also together with the Free Roman University. So we will have a contribution from University of La Sapienza, from Roma Trento Vergata. Then we are also active with awards. So there are 4 main awards that have been established by a long time, and that we would like to annually or biannually, depending on the award, provide to celebrate some typically young researcher. So we have the Marco Somalvico Award, which is biannual, and we would like to that is dedicated to the best Italian young researchers in AI. Then we have the Marco Cadoli Award for the best PhD thesis, the Leonardo Lesma Award for the best master thesis, and in some years we have also the Pietro Torras Award for the best video to popularize artificial intelligence. We organize a lot of activities, a lot of events, but in the last years, we've also been very interested in organizing activities for the industrial community. In particular, we have organized what we call the AI Forum since 2019, and the goal is to facilitate the connection between the academic world and the industry. And typically, this event is held in Milan, where we are able to organize in a close connection with the industrial environment there. Well, I conclude by mentioning that the Italian Association is also very active in some editorial activities. So we have all the workshops are typically published in several proceedings, but our community has also an official scientific journal, which is indexed, and this is the Journal of Intelligenza Artificiale. And we also are active in some specific initiative like comics in order to popularize and divulgate the notion of AI among the young students, among young people. And also we have also a very recent kind of book about the sustainability. So about with the goal of stimulating the discussion in Italy about the possible use of AI for a sustainable growth. So this is a nutshell what the Italian Association do, but actually, in all this process, the connection and the collaboration with Claire is very, very important. We strongly believe that Claire Office can be a good means to further improve our collaboration and our synergies. And so this is a very important event, a very central event in our life. And so I'm very happy and glad that this happened in this year. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, I'm Emanuela Girardi, I'm the president of ADRA, and when I was listening to Gianluigi, I was just feeling so proud of being part of the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence, and the same thing, of course, when Holger was presenting Claire, of being part of Claire. But today I would like to talk to you about ADRA. ADRA is the AI Data and Robotics Association. I hope you can see my slide that I just shared. Okay, let's see. So ADRA was founded by 5 associations which represent the entire community, European community of AI, data and robotics. On the robotics side, we have Eurobotics. On the data side, we have Big Data, BDVA, Big Data Value Association. And then on the AI side, we have Claire, of course, and then Ellis and Eurai. And 3 years ago, all these communities, they jointly decided to create this one single association which represents the entire stakeholders of AI, data and robotics in Europe. And ADRA also, was founded to become the private partner of the European Commission in the new PPP, the Public-Private Partnership on AI, Data and Robotics. And this is a very important partnership, and there are also, considerable amount of money that will be invested, have already been invested in the past years and will be invested in the next year, for a total amount of 2.6 billion euro of public and private investment to create a European ecosystem of AI, data and robotics. And the partnership, sorry, the slide went too much, okay. So the partnership has 3 very ambitious goals. The first one is to secure the European sovereignty over AI, data and robotics technologies and know-how. The second one is to establish a European leadership in AI, data and robotics technologies, which is not only having a socioeconomic impact, but also with an environmental strong impact. And the last goal, which is also very important, it refers to the private sector, and we want to reinforce a strong and global competitive position of Europe, especially of European industry in AI, data and robotics. So what can we do, to be part of this project and to really to reach these goals together? And why is it very important to be part of ADRA? We think that in ADRA, we do believe that today we're facing very big challenges. And we think that by leveraging on the convergence of AI, data and technologies, AI, data and robotics, we can really solve some of these major challenges of Europe and also that the world are really facing today. And while becoming, if you become a member of ADRA, you can really play an active role in doing this, and you can really be part of a European community of AI, data and robotics, and you will also have access to a large network of AI, data and robotics stakeholders. Of course, we have industry, research and policymakers. And we are, there are several partners, several members several institutions that are members of ADRA, and we have big industry, SMEs, startup, RTOs, universities, and of course we also have NGO and private sector. And okay, I'm messing up with the slides, sorry. So what can we do? What can you do when you are part of the network of ADRA? We are already developing several initiatives. We heard before Gianluigi speaking about the initiatives that are being developed by the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence, and also in ADRA we have several topic groups and task forces. These are just a few. You can see we have a group on policy, of course, policy for AI, data and robotics. We have a group on standardization. This is also very important today for the operationalization of the policy that are being developed by the European Commission and European Parliament. Then we have some specific topic groups. For instance, there is one on automotive and mobility. There is one on inspection and maintenance. There is the last group that has been founded is on generative AI, which is a very hot topic at the moment. And then we are developing, that will be released in the next weeks, a new strategic research, innovation and deployment agenda, which will be the base for the next Horizon program program of investments by the European Commission. So as you can see, there are really lots of things that are being done in ADRA. We have already lots of members in industry, in research, lots of universities and so on. So we really hope that you will become also a member of ADRA. And the last but not least, On November 8th and 9th, we will have our first AI Data and Robotics Forum, which is happening in Versailles, and we will be discussing all these topics of the convergence of AI data robotics, and we will have a higher focus on generative AI for the European society and industry. So I really hope that you will be able to join us. I thank you, and I give back the word to Domenico. Thank you.
Thank you, Emanuela. Thank you all the speakers that have animated the introduction. And so now we want to address one of the topics on which the Rome office has been more active during the last years, and which is education in high, in particular higher level, and more specifically postgraduate and doctoral education. And in this respect, I have here to talk about this, I have here Giuseppe De Giacomo, I already mentioned it before, as former responsible of the CLARE office, Magdalena Ortiz from the Technical University of Vienna, Dino Predeschi from the University of Pisa, and Niccolò Brandizzi from University of Rome, but also one of the member of the kernel Rising Research kernel group of the Rising Research Network of CLARE. And so the idea now is to somehow look at what CLARE has done on this respect, and look also at what can be done for the future. So I would now leave the stage to Giuseppe, that can somehow tell us the main contribution of the Rome office of CLARE on the AI education and the initiatives that have been carried out in the past. So Giuseppe, please.
Thank you very much. Let me share the screen. Okay. So the Rome office was actually founded soon after a conference, the second CLARE conference in Rome in 2019. And essentially take immediately the stance of this slide. So excellence across all of AI for your human-centered focus. Now, it has participated to many initiatives. I'm going to talk about two, and then my colleagues will actually say something more about these two initiatives. So the first initiative I want to talk about is the national PhD program in artificial intelligence. So CLARE obviously was not directly involved in this. This is something Italian, and the idea was to have, so this slide is in Italian because I'm using the original slides that were presented at the various moments. So the idea was to have a PhD that would, a PhD program that would join very many universities into a coherent program. And originally it was founded through CNR for 4 million. And here, CLARE played two very important roles. Let me go on in this presentation so that meanwhile you can look a little bit at what this program is. So it had two very important roles. The first role was to put the idea of all of AI really in front of the politician, because the politicians were most looking at AI equal machine learning. And it was very useful to have an organization that instead was talking about all of AI, not only machine learning, but everything. And this actually had an impact in orienting the PhD program in a certain direction. And obviously, I mean, it wasn't not only because of me, but because this idea was actually accepted by all the scientists. So it was really an important point of view. And the second thing was something really practical, because at a certain point, the Rome office went to talk to the Minister of Education, which was Fierramonti, and Fierramonti actually attended the second conference, the second Clare conference. He was not a minister when he attended the conference. And so they talk about how to help AI in Italy. And in particular, the minister said that he had actually a little bit of money that he could use on some initiative. And then they said, well, we would like to actually use it for the PhD, for the National PhD program. And essentially this doubled the budget of the National PhD program, making it really scaling much better. And it was very important that the people that went there present themselves as the Clare office, and the minister actually attended the conference, so he really knew what this Clare office was, what Clare was. The second thing I want to talk about is, and now I'm moving to it's next year, something that was actually launched at the third European Clare conference at Hague 2020. And there we were preparing a group of scientists to form what then was called a research pillar. And this group of scientists actually talked to each other and came out with some proposal, and you can see the original slide, what was presented then, among the various proposals. Now, among these various proposals, I want to focus on this, okay? So the idea was Clare should support some sort of wide scope summer school on AI in the style of ESLI, which is a very important summer school in logic language information that is held in Europe, and is probably the best summer school ever done for PhDs, which there are these long courses.
Ok, questo è ciò che ho trovato sul web per...
Sorry, Siri thinks that I'm talking to her. So there are long courses of 5 days each, in which every aspect of AI, or actually of logic, language, information in case of ESLI, is studied. Now, this idea developed, and it actually developed within Taylor. And here these slides are some slides that I presented in 2021 at IPERIA. And you see the fact that Taylor and the other ECT48 network, but actually Taylor had really the primary role of having the money to actually start up the summer school has been extremely important. So the summer school then was called SSI and was actually taken by EURAI. So we have this chain, Clare, Taylor, and then EURAI. And now is managed by EURAI. And this slide I prepared with Magdalena. And these are the very slide that I used to present the idea of SSI to EURAI. And so we explained what this school was about, and the fact that we were missing a big school, a place where all the community of young researchers working on all aspects on AI, again, Clare is there, would meet and become friends and start a long life collaboration. And we also said why it was not really like a CAI, that is a summer school that EURAI has been running for many times. And then Akai has now become one particular session of tutorials, one particular branch of tutorials of SSI. And also we study cooperation with ESLI. At the beginning, we wanted really with Magdalena, we tried to do something joint with ESLI, but ESLI actually didn't really want to do that. And so we went for some collaboration that was less stringent. And so the first summer school was held co-located with ESLI. And now we are actually talking with ESLI after the success of the first summer school that Magdalena will tell you about. We are talking with ESLI to actually do some stronger collaboration, maybe every some years, maybe every 4 years, like IGECAI, NECAI. So this is something to be seen in the future. Last thing, I would say that Claire and the Claire office has created some sort of, has helped to keep, to actually create a very important momentum in AI in Italy. And the last thing I want to mention is this super huge project in AI that is running now, in which there are also funds for PhD students. And again, this project has this idea of not focusing on a specific aspect of AI, but actually looking at AI as a whole, in which you can merge the various competences that are available and the various subfields of AI. And this is all I have to say, and thank you very much.
So thank you, Giuseppe. Thank you so much for giving us this picture about the story and what happened during the last years, and in particular about these two initiatives, the National PhD on AI in Italy and the SI School. So I would like to ask now to Dino Pedreschi from University of Pisa, as one of the main actors behind this initiative, to tell something about the PhD program, and so that we can get some more ideas about this. Thank you, Dino.
Thank you so much, Domenico, and also thanks to Giuseppe, who has already introduced the topic. I'm very glad to bring a little bit of a spotlight on this, let's say, huge effort that the national community of artificial intelligence, thanks to the links of at international and particularly European level with the ICT 49 networks and Claire, has been able to build. And it is something, really a construction that started 2019 with a call for action to the Italian community to find out a platform that was able to create an education community for doctoral school at Italian level. And it's been 2 years of work of a large number of people. Giuseppe mentioned how many, to somehow design this program that eventually boiled down to 5 federated PhD programs, strictly coordinated among them, that created a common platform that was able to essentially engage in the project more than 60 Italian universities and more than 20 Institute of CNR and other research centers. Really a big participation with an idea that is at the same time so based on 2 scientific ideas. The first one is keeping together foundations in a broad sense for artificial intelligence and applicative, let's say, focusing in very broad areas. So while the five pillars of this project have a kind of application focus in healthcare and life science, industry, governance and public bodies, agri-food and environment, and society. There is also a large amount of foundational research and education on the not only on the foundation, on the classical foundation of AI and of course machine learning, deep learning, explainable AI, and so on and so forth, but also on the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary foundation of AI, including social impact, ethics, human-centered AI, and complex networks, and all the links with physics, mathematics. It's really a broad way. And you see these blue seas on which are planted the different 5 pillars are a common sea from which essentially the five PhD courses somehow share and provide a very valuable body of research opportunities and educational opportunities for the entire community. So these two things together, not separating applications from foundational research, and a clear multidisciplinary focus that goes well beyond, let's say, the classical AI community. The numbers has really been big in the sense that after 2 years of preparation, 1920, in November 21, the first cycle began. As I said, we had an open call to the community to participate in the project by co-funding. We had funds to essentially provide co-funding of 50% of the cost of sponsorship. We had really to make a selection because we had more offer than what we were actually able to co-fund. Eventually, it was possible to engage more than 60 universities, more than 20 research centers overall. And as you see from the numbers, for the first 2 cycles, the one began November 21 and the second began November 22nd, we are talking about 300 PhD students that are currently undergoing this education and research path. They're participating in joint summer schools. They are participating in many joint activities between the different pillars and the different universities. In many cases, I would say in most of the cases, they have joint supervision from people that from professors that stay in different places, possibly with different background. So really a great social experiment that we really hope it will be impacting profoundly the landscape of public research in artificial intelligence, in human-centered and social aware artificial intelligence in the coming years, impacting not only society but also industry and all the sectors, and then public sector that it's listed here. The final information about numbers, of course, these days we are essentially hiring the third wave. It's very interesting to observe that these first 2 waves were mostly funded by this original funding from National Research Council and the Ministry of Research and Education that co-funded 200 sponsorship, while we were able to actually start 300 in two cycles. For the next cycle, we have very similar numbers, even if the funding from the Ministry and CNR has finished, and now, but of course, we still have this Next Generation EU funding that it's continuing for this year and probably also in part for the next. So there is another 150 that is coming, bringing the total up to now to 450, which is really a big wave. So we really hope that this is something that will bring young people. We have a lot of people coming from outside Italy, from Europe and beyond. We have many women in this program, so we really hope this is a big push of novelty for the Italian research ecosystem in artificial intelligence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dino. So these are quite impressive numbers, I would say, and the interesting thing, an important thing that probably we would not have all these PhD students in AI without this initiative. And so let me go quick to Magdalena, because I would like to now hear about how the SI school went this year, since Magdalena was the chair of the school. So can you tell about, was this a success as expected?
Well, I don't want to brag, but it was fantastic. It was a huge success. So from the early slides that Giuseppe already showed, this year we managed to make SI a reality with the help from EURAI, the networks Giuseppe mentioned. And we had the first European summer school on artificial intelligence this summer in July from the 24th to 28th in the beautiful Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia. It was really a super nice event, vibrant, exciting. We had more than 60 speakers, 37 tutorials, 500 attendees. It was really something big and exciting, let's say. So we had the main SI had 24 courses. So there were 6 tracks with 4 courses. Each of them was 5 consecutive days of 90-minute lectures, so allowing to go into some detail of the topics. They were chosen by an international program committee on the basis of an open call. Each course was from Monday to Friday, and there were like 2 key ingredients. We had different levels. We had introductory levels, we had foundational courses, and we had advanced courses. And we really prioritized both in the call and in the selection process, presenting all of AI, as you said, presenting a broad view of AI and a broad and complete AI education. So we try to have introductory and foundational courses in machine learning, in knowledge representation, and especially in areas that bridge those things. We also emphasized interdisciplinary, broad bridging between AI communities. For example, we had some formal methods for uncertainty management applied to robotics. We had, here I have a few examples of the courses. We had a course on large language model with linguists. We had a course on AutoML. We had a course on AI fairness and privacy. These 3 were super popular. We had formal methods for explaining neural networks. We had, for example, multi-objective reinforcement learning, which was a course that people from other areas of AI, vision, knowledge representation that only had foundations of reinforcement learning could attend and expand their background. So it was really, we had a huge choice of courses. The only complaint I had from the students that they wanted to take more than they could within a week. They had to choose because there were many courses in parallel. But the good news is that the videos of the courses are online, except in 1 or 2 exceptions where the lecturers didn't want to have it online, but the vast majority are online. So the students are constantly still active on the Discord channel as commenting on the courses because they're still watching the ones they couldn't attend in person. It was really super exciting. As mentioned, there was this long-standing school, the ACAI, the Advanced Courses on Artificial Intelligence that EURAI has had for many years. That one this year focused on AI for science, and it was like a specialized tutorial track within the larger SI. So SI had 24 courses in 6 parallel sessions, and ACAI had 12 tutorials of most of them of 180 minutes, some of them of 90 minutes. We also had a keynote talk by Jure Lesovec from Stanford, who's originally Slovenian, on graph neural networks. It was a fantastic talk. We had 2 panels, one on AI and society and one on AI and science. And overall, there was really this fantastic vibe of people being excited to be there, to learn from different areas of AI, to meet people, to network. Something fantastic that the local organizers achieved, they got the honorary patronage of the president of Slovenia, but unlike other politicians that sometimes say, oh yes, I will go, and then you send some substitute to give a 3-minute speech written standard for any event. She was really strongly present in the event. She gave a very nice address at the opening, challenging the students to really learn and broaden their AI horizons. She was present. She participated in the course on AI and society. She has been very involved in the GDPR regulation. She's originally a lawyer, and she comes from a background of advocating for access to information and nowadays for data protection and privacy in the European Union. That was like the beginning of her political career. And she actually attended the course on AI fairness and privacy. She sat there for several hours taking notes and asking questions. And I think that was fantastic, not only because it was impressive for the students and it kind of gave them a more feeling of something big and important happening, but I really was very excited to see the example of a intelligent, committed woman in power that comes and shows that she wants to learn from the experts. Asking AI people, trying to learn from them how to best regulate AI. And I think that's something that is fantastic also because of the view it opens to all our 500 students that were there, seeing that you can actually care about science, be in power, and try to change things for the better. I think she did really set a very, very positive tone in that sense. We had some social events. I mean, it was really a very, very nice vibe. Even the people were really excited. We had some live music. We had fantastic weather, which is not trivial because there were some floods afterwards during Isli, but we had very nice weather. So it was all very exciting. Really, the local team did a fantastic job. They actually had to close in-person registration because the venue only had capacity for 500 people. And they opened a form of online registration that people could attend some courses on Zoom. As I mentioned, the lectures were post-produced and are now available online. And yeah, it was a really exciting event, and I'm constantly hearing questions. Yes, there will be a next SI. It will happen in Athens in July of 2025, and we're all really looking forward to it. I think all 500 people who were there and many that couldn't be there are looking forward to the next SI, which I also hope and will try to help make it a big success like this one was. So that's it from my side.
Thank you, Magdalena. So even in this case, it's so really, really cool. And the story that you told us was really exciting somehow. Okay. And it's something that we would like to see more often from politicians that so interested in technical aspects, so they want to understand better.
And also inviting your networks, people, tell them about the site, because getting good courses is part of what makes this school so valuable, right? Getting nice course proposals from best researchers in all areas of AI from all over the world. Okay. We were not in Italy, but we were not so far. Slovenia, pretty close to. There were many people from Udine, for example.
Very, very close, very close. So my last question for you would have been, when is the next edition? But you already said it's in Athens, and so we have to wait for the exact organization and deadlines and so on. And it will be great as well, I think. Thank you again. So we are a bit behind the schedule, so I would like to go quickly to Nicolò, so he can tell us about this Rising Research Network and which are the main initiatives that are organized for students and PhD students in particular.
Yes, thank you, Domenico, for having me here. So I'm Nicolò Brandizzi. I'm last year a PhD student at Sapienza University of Rome. And since 2 years ago, I'm also part of the CLARE R2 network, which stands for Rising Researcher Network. It's a network of now almost 300 members, around 25 countries in Europe, but some of them are also outside Europe, actually. And what we are is just a self-organized body of young researchers. We help each other out, we organize events for each other, and in general, what we're trying to achieve is to have a kind of cohesive network where PhD students, and I would say also young researchers in general, can help each other into shaping AI in Europe. So actually, we had quite a few events organized so far. one of the most successful, I would say, was a workshop at the SI conference, which we had on on Sunday before the actual event started. It was a workshop that was of great importance to me personally for AI research and mental well-being, where we basically addressed let's say, the stress and the mental challenges that can come while pursuing a PhD in general, but especially in a field that is as fast growing and changing as can be AI. We also have more events to showcase our members' work, such as paper highlights, where our members send us some papers and we organize a review committee to showcase the most impressive ones. And also something known as lightning talks, where people basically give speeches and try to get our other members interested in their research. So our members, our network is always growing. So I would also like to sponsor it in this occasion. So if you go to the Claire website, you can find it under R2 Network. Just send us an email, and we're happy to have new members. And I think this is all on my side. Thank you again for having me here, and we can go on the next panel question.
Thank you, Nicola. That's great, and it is nice to see these initiatives to somehow give directions to students. Also, not only, of course, they need support, they need contact, but also directions are important. Mm-hmm. I would like to also underline that Claire could give some support for students who and not only also to other some school in AI like Reasoning Web that have received some support also thanks to your work in selecting the application. So, now I think that we have discussed in large the main initiatives of the office from the story to what really happened. As I said, we are a bit behind the schedule, so I just want to thank again you for joining us and for somehow being part of the Rome office of Claire, even though you are not all located in Italy, and this is also the flavor of the internationality of the office per se. So now I think we can move to discuss the second topic of the day, and we will leave the stage to Marco and the other speakers for the next panel.
Okay, so welcome to the panel about AI and health. So Claire maybe already made some contribution in this field with initiative like the Claire COVID-19 Task Force. And now with this panel and with three distinguished speakers that you can see here, and then I will mention them, of course, we would like to analyze the current situation in the field and the current trends with the goal of possibly continuing the experience of the task force within Claire with a new and more structured way. So as you see, the panel is composed by Michela Milano, professor at the University of Bologna, Marco Denucci, professor at the University of Turin, and Antonio Grillo, executive design director at NFT Data and adjunct professor at the Polytechnic of Milano. Okay, now, so I will ask the speaker, so quite briefly, at first to speak about their contribution and experience in the field of AI for health, in this order. So first Michela, then Marco, and finally Antonio. Okay, so they share my screen and leave the floor for Michela for the first presentation.
Okay. So thank you very much for the invitation to this panel. Okay, so with our group, we have, faced with some health-related problems with AI, and in particular, today I would like to discuss two projects about transplants. So in the recent years, we have taken into account liver transplants and kidney exchange problem. And basically, they are very different, even if they have some commonalities. So in kidney exchange, that was the first problem that we considered. There are basically pairs of donor patient that should be matched, because the donor can be exchanged to another patient in order to achieve the maximum matching in terms of compatibility between the organ and the patient. So the thing is that this is a very important and very difficult optimization problem, because it can involve just pairs, a couple of pairs or triplets, or I mean, even longer chains. And the optimization problem is very difficult, and in particular you have to mix it with machine learning techniques, because you need to have some prediction about the success of the transplant in terms of compatibility, and this can be achieved through indicators in a way that are learned from previous transplants. So mixing optimization and learning is one important field for solving this problem. For the liver transplant instead, I mean, the situation is very different, because of course the donor is not alive in general, I mean, always. And the thing is that you have really to try to understand how the compatibility, which is the compatibility between the patient and the donor. And now the patients that are listed in a very huge list dealt with in a national level and also at regional level. And patients are selected on the basis of the criticality of their conditions, without any consideration at the moment, or at least, I mean, a very few consideration about the compatibility between the two things. So we are collaborating with the Ospedale Sant'Orsola here in Bologna to try to reach a better, not only a better understanding of these indicators, but also to try to again solve an optimization problem that minimizes overall the risk of death while waiting for the transplant, but also the survival at 5 years after the surgery. So the two things are very, very different, because I mean, in one case you have live donors, and while in the other you're not. And basically, in the first case, you can, I mean, have your own donor, or also altruistic donors that can be exchanged. While in the second one is just a matching problem, but still very difficult. So you can deal with it with the two problems in a deterministic way, so just considering the patient that are in queue, or in a stochastic way, when you start inserting also the probability of obtaining new organs based on the previous distribution of organ donors and so on, and also on their compatibility. Of course, there are some issues that I will discuss a little bit later when I talk about the future that concern both of these problems. So for me, that's all.
Thank you, Michela. So now Marco can connect and so briefly speak about his experience and contribution in the field.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, I'm Marco Aldinucci. I'm professor at the University of Torino, and also co-leading the Spoke future HPC of the Italian national champion on HPC, a large program founded by PNNR. And my more important contributor, our more important contributor in AI for health has been the development of a score for stroke that use AI. That's super important for us, because it has been developed together with doctors, with medical doctors of University of Torino, and it has been 2 weeks ago. Recently, the score has been developed in 2021, and 2 weeks ago has become part of the European guideline, clinical guideline from European Society of Cardiology. I think it's the first score developed with AI technique reaching the maturity of being adopted. Really, the score itself predict the probability of a second stroke after one stroke or other problem, like for example bleeding and die. The important fact about the work is pretty precise, because we got a very good accuracy, over 92%, with a very good recall and other performance metrics, and this thanks to a very, very large and good data set of example we did. We succeed to pull and collect that has over 25,000 cases of stroke from many different hospitals in Europe. And somehow, apart the result in itself, what we today consider important in terms of AI are two things. First has been developed by using traditional ML techniques that are not died from some application, particularly used some non-gradient descent technique, because it is mostly tabular data. The data required is the prediction is made on blood sample, so there are numbers basically, tabular. And the second important thing is that it has been really possible pulling data from different sources, and this is particularly difficult because, as you know, there are many issues related to privacy and other aspects, but not only privacy. There is also the value of data that is often forgotten, is to be taken account. That's I think my time is done, so I conclude here.
Okay, thank you, Marco. So, for sticking to the time and for the interesting contribution you have given. And now I leave the control to Antonio for speaking about his recent contribution and in the field within Entity.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm Executive Design Director at Entity Data. What does it mean? I just wanted to provide you a bit of context, because what does it mean doing design within a big tech company? Nowadays, as you know very well, there are several transformative technologies like artificial intelligence that are kind of disrupting the way in which we learn, the way in which we sense the environment, and the need to preserve a good relationship between people and those technologies that are evolving so quickly is absolutely essential. And the role of design is mainly to keep this relationship quite stable and make sure that people are capable to utilize those tools. And in doing that, years ago, in 2021, we have delivered a design toolkit in order to design artificial intelligence to prevent ethical issues rather than trying to fix those issues afterwards. And it was basically based on the fact that we were bringing humans at the center of the process instead of just starting from data that are preset. So we were starting from user needs rather than by pre-existing models, and mainly we were enabling a cross-team contamination in order to capitalize the richness of diversity of opinion, lenses, and point of view with regards to a certain topic. And another important point of this inclusive design toolkit, that by the way, this AI ethic design toolkit, that by the way you can find on Myroverse, so it's for free, is to keep humans in the learning loop, which is a way to lower the effect of some biases. We have experimented this toolkit on a project that is named AIDA, Artificial Intelligence Design for Autism. which is a no-profit research that was meant to help the people with autism and their communication with the caregivers to speed up the comprehension of possible signals, to spot out some signals in order to prevent crisis. And we have experimented this toolkit. We have utilized a participatory design approach by involving all the stakeholders and working with experts rather than working for them. And it was a very insightful and inspiring project, and has been recognized by the UNESCO Mobile Week in 2021 as one of the most innovative project within the area of inclusion and artificial intelligence. That's my experience that I wanted to share with you today.
So the experience also of a very large and important industry for sticking to the time. Okay, let's move to the second and final question for this panel. I will ask the speaker in the same order to ask about their vision or their plan about the future of AI in health for the next few years, I must say. Okay, let's start again with Michela.
Okay, so we have heard a lot about trustworthiness in the last few years. So in particular, the Commission has provided us the ethical guidelines on trustworthy AI. And when we talk about like fairness, for example, we always think about machine learning, right? But in these areas, like the transplant projects that I have mentioned, the fairness is very important to be achieved. Of course, we are talking about people that are have to be selected for saving their life. So it's not just a matter of ranking for some other thing, but that is less important. So achieving fairness in this situation is very important, because you do not want that the patient, for example, waits forever in the list because it's not enough compatible with the organs that are coming. So at some point you should in a way balance between the perfect match that you can achieve with your optimization algorithm and the time or the criticality of the condition of the patient. So you really have to find a trade-off that is not just about machine learning classification or something like that, but is really related to constraint that you need to put into your optimization model to achieve a kind of ethical decision. In addition, all these data that we use in machine learning for example, inferring the compatibility between a donor and a patient and an organ and a patient, basically they are affected by a selection bias. Why that? Because if we analyze previous surgeries that have been done in the past, the organs have been selected by the surgeons, and then of course we have a selection bias in the data, and this is really very difficult. It's very difficult to avoid it. But when we come up to a ranking, this not only in health but in general in HR or in every other application, and we want to be fair with respect to some features like the gender, the race, and in some cases also the age, for example, you really need to set up some algorithms that rank people and select these people in a fair way. But the problem is that basically the fairness is not just applied to a single selection of the first patient for a given organ, but it's a fairness that is measured along the time, during the time and during many selections, in a way that, for example, some features like gender, age, and race, for example, are in a way treated in a fair way, and we don't have discrimination or unbalanced treatment. So this, I think, is a very important future research direction that need to be considered, not just from the perspective of machine learning, but in the perspective of the overall artificial intelligence, knowledge representation, reasoning optimization, and so on.
Thank you again, Michela. Very, very clear. So now it is the turn again of Marco Linucci.
As you know, Mark, I'm a person from systems, so I'm expert of parallel distributed computing more than AI. So AI is a super important workload. But so what we are doing recently is try to make high performance computing really very, very usable from people that need AI. So there are many examples. So consider that the most trivial example are, of course, foundational model or large models. So that you may need something like 50,000 GPU to be used. But what people really want is to really use it simply, as it were in a notebook, for example. And that's our job. In Torino, we started some years ago to reason about a system that was purely experimental system we call HPC for AI, in which the idea is to develop tools to make high performance computing and large computer very easily usable from people that need AI. That's basically what we do. It is, funnily enough, today appeared on Vanity Fair. So Vanity Fair is not that scientific computing journal, an article describing a research called the broken heart syndrome on Vanity Fair. But it's a serious syndrome. Technically it's the Takotsubo syndrome that has been developed by medical doctors using our system, accessing easily to the compute power, and you can find today on Vanity Fair. And we are continuing in the system perspective, and we are particularly interested to federated learning because it could be a good way to pool data, to put together data by exchanging models instead of data, so preserving not only the privacy but also the value of data. So we are working together with all the players, with NVIDIA, with Intel, and we extended Intel framework for using any model, not only DNN, but also we developed an algorithm called ADA Boost, and we are extending. We are removing centralization point. We are extending to the promise of computing, for example, to RISC-V processor, that are the processor on which European Union is investing for the future. The technological sovereignty. Among this pact, for example, it happened curious thing. For example, we developed PyTorch for RISC-V, and we were first in the world. Today, anybody in the world that do pip install PyTorch on a RISC-V machine download our code. That it has been nice for us. So we are really contributed to the technology, and that's what we are doing today.
Okay, Marco, thank you. So we are now to the last speech of this panel and of the whole event, and is Antonio that technically is closing the discussion.
Okay, I'm wearing the not so tech, because actually I'm a designer. I'm trying to humanize the technology. I think that there is a huge opportunity for research to better shape and trustworthy relationship between human beings and these transformative technologies that is going to change the way we perceive reality, the way we do things actually is already changing. And so there is a huge room for research in shaping the concept of trust, reliability, transparency. All those items are absolutely vital in order to shape the most healthy relationship between people, and those are such a powerful technology and the advent of a generative AI, which is kind of allowing everyone to, to have a super powerful AI engine in our pocket, is kind of making artificial intelligence more culturally acceptable. What does it mean? That perhaps in the past we were just thinking about trying some very, very complex application. Now, perhaps there is the condition to make this application, to scale those applications and to see those applications actually adopted. That's the reason why there is a huge opportunity, but also a huge risk, because due to the nature of this technology, because it's transforming technology, we might design good or bad behaviors. And as a researcher, as a technologist, as designer, we should be conscious of our responsibilities in shaping the relationship between those powerful technologies and humanity in a way. In terms of future scenarios, we are working in several directions. One of these is related to the digital twin. So in our R&D in Japan, we are making a digital twin of the cardiologic organ in order to better manage some medical issues. It's a long way, but we are working really hard in achieving this objective, because it seems to be that it's going to be quite useful in the future to react to some emergency more informed than we are doing now at this moment. That's all from my side.
Thank you again, Antonio. So thank you for this speaker. And so the panel of ENF is done. I think that with Domenico now, we would like to give some final remarks and some thank you. Okay, I'll leave the flow to Domenico.
Yeah, I just want to say that we have seen so many nice applications and so many interesting initiatives in the field of AI supported by Claire to the Rome office, not only. I think that the title of this event, so Safeguarding the Future through AI, why not, is somehow close to what we have shown in. And so I'm particularly happy of having introduced the office and honored of being one of the responsible. And I would like to thank again all the speakers that have participated, and I can invite them, or at least those that are still with us, to turn on the camera to say goodbye to the people that connected with us. And want to thank also the technical support from the Claire headquarters. And if you have any question or you want to look for collaboration, please write to office-rome@claire-ai.org, or simply look for our webpage on Claire and you can find the contact. So thank you again and goodbye.
Bye-bye.